Alright, hello and welcome back everyone here to the Game 3 in the semifinals of the Dota Trash Destruction Tournament. We've got Dignotoss going up against Osiris Gaming. So far, both teams able to show off a dominant performance. The first game that Osiris Gaming won, which was game 1, was only, 25 minutes maybe? Dignotoss, they do it in 16, although it was an early GG call from Osiris. They were quite behind, so if you're still tuning in, I'm Helium. Vic Ramond will be back with me in a moment, but he is the co-caster for the day. So semifinals game 3, we see the bans, they shape a little differently. Osiris will take out that Ember Spirit, taking out the Nature's Prophet as well. Dignotoss, they take out Invoker so strong in the mid lane. We've already seen one really good performance from a Quaswex Invoker. Not Quaswex, excuse me, Quas-Exort Invoker today. Batrider also being taken out. IX Mike has been playing him exceptionally well, and in those games we saw earlier from Snob +4. The picks are going to be Osiris Gaming with an Ancient Apparition. We'll see what else they want to put behind that, whether they want to go aggressive with that Chilling Touch or just keep it in their defensive lane. As Dignotoss, Nyx Assassin the first pick, and going to be playing that Doom. And, well, we'll see where he wants to play it. Safe lane, mid lane, off lane, into the jungle. Very ambiguous pick. As well as the Nyx Assassin can also support. Could mid in some circumstances, although rare. And, of course, so good in that off lane with his really, really strong health regen. As Osiris, way different. They're going to go out of the gate here with an Earthshaker pickup. And we'll see whether this is going to be a pure support or maybe a farming role. I don't know.
Whoa.
Could be exciting. Bold words, yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I love me some farming Earthshaker, but it's pretty damn. Problem with farming Earthshaker is like you don't want to make Lincolns on your farming Earthshaker, but Doom is so good against farming ES.
10 seconds
Like
remaining.
if you Doom an extremely farmed anti-mage, he can kind of just take it and still fight, right? Like he can sit there because his auto attack is good.
Yeah.
Earthshaker's auto attack, no matter how much farm he is not good. It's good because he has Enchant Totem. So if he can't cast Enchant Totem, Hero's useless in a farming role. So I don't know. I think it's probably a support. And in fact, Osiris in all 3 games, or at least in the last 2, has picked 2 supports as their first 2 picks. So, or like more heavily prioritized supports than we see most teams doing it. So I think this is going to be AA and ES as their 2 supports.
Yeah, definitely. I would agree. I just always like to entertain the idea of the
No,
Shaker.
I'm right there with you, Helium. I love Carry Shaker. I think it's the greatest thing since sliced bread.
I don't understand picking it up second, though. It's not like... Well, it actually did get banned out when Osiris was trying to go for... or one of the teams was going for that Lycan push. That was Dignitas going for the Lycan for the Nature's Prophet, all the push. They did take out Earthshaker as their 5th ban, so I guess it does have the potential to get banned.
Hero.
So they get it second, and we see a lot of bans happen in the meantime. Marana, Slark, saw those heroes in game 1 getting taken out. Rubik in the last game, not a lot of success. And Visage, of course, is Visage. So those are the bans for round 2.
Reserve time.
He sure is. That's pretty much all you need to say about Visage. No, I think ES is, I mean, he's a strong support. He is another guy who got buffed by Blink Dagger becoming free. And like we said earlier, Osiris likes to take a support or 2 earlier than most teams do, so maybe that's part of why they took him second as well. They're like, we want a yes, we know we're going to take him, we might as well just get it. And there's that Weaver AA combo that we saw in our first game of the day. One of the reasons AA is so strong is any hero who has really good attack speed is going to synchronize extremely well with Chilling Touch. And the fact is Weaver's attack speed is bad, except for the fact that Geminid attack gives you a free attack. So it's 2 attacks instantaneously.
Yeah, and we see that Crystal Maiden, one of the strongest supports left in the pool, I would say. Going to get picked up. We saw this combination earlier, the Doom and the Crystal Maiden running together, I think, or yeah, one of these games. It was Doom, Crystal Maiden, and the support of the Marana, played by Classic, I think, was game number 1 from Osiris. I can't remember. There's been quite a few games already.
Yeah, there was support Marana. Yepper.
All right.
That's correct. And they had base. That was the massive burst damage game. It was Slark, and then Marana, CM, Doom, with the CM rotating. It started out as an aggressive try, then CM and Marana rotated bottom for the Nature's Prophet. Then mid was who the hell was mid? Batrider? I don't know. Can't remember.
I don't know. Game is hard.
Wait,
Well,
I feel bad. We should remember what it was. Yeah, mid was somebody else
Invoker?
that does damage. Invoker, yeah, Invoker, right? Correct.
I think so. We haven't seen Batrider mid, only IX Mike taking it to the offlane once.
You are correct. Ban, of course, ban out on Batrider in the first phase here. These are the heroes that we commonly see first banned, are really AA, Invoker, Batrider, Ember, Doom, sometimes Nature's Prophet, depending. It's more team dependent. But you can see Osiris, after that first game in which the Nature's Prophet came out, even though Dignotoss lost that game, they have not let Nature's Prophet through the ban phase since. They're like, we would rather not deal with that, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely played well by Risk, so maybe they fear it, but that was the game that they did get kind of shut down in. Osiris seemed to have their number right from the start in that game. As Venomancer is going to get picked up here by Dignotoss. The second Venomancer pick of the day, at least from the games that we have covered here in the Dota Trash tournament, or Dota Trash Destruction. So, we can see what it wants to do. It's going to be likely supporting up here with the Crystal Maiden.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think it's a pretty solid pickup. Of course, not super effective against Weaver, but maybe they feel that they have enough to shut down the Weaver, even with just the Doom. Doom, of course, forces Weaver to go into a very aggressive, like Lincoln Sphere fast build, which means that the Weaver isn't doing too much damage, which means maybe your Venomancer doesn't care that much about killing the Weaver early, since he's just not doing damage. It's more about picking off the AA, the Earthshaker, and it's going to be Timbersaw. Hero, lately we just don't see nearly as much as we used to.
Yeah, I really regret not asking the question I wanted to pose to you earlier. What happened to Timbersaw being a first-round ban? I mean, nothing got changed. He's as good as he ever was, but there's just so much more other people you got to worry about now. I don't know.
Timbersaw doesn't bring much to the table other than pure damage. So in this case, when you want damage, like, this is a great pick here, because Weaver is going to have low damage early until he gets Lincolns, and their other supports do okay damage, but you still want more. Timber as a first pick was never that great. The professional win rate of the hero was actually fairly low, which seems insane considering how good he is, but it really comes down to where he fits in the draft. If you pick Timbersaw first, you are telegraphing so much about how your team is playing, right? Like, first of all, they know it's probably going offlane. Like, they know that the offlaner is going to be something that doesn't do any CC, like Nyx Assassin, who, like, from the offlane is going to do so much work in terms of map and teamfight control. Whereas Timber, it's like, okay, well, we know that they're going to do damage if we don't control Timber, but other than that, we know who their offlaner is and we know what he does and does not do. So if you're going to draft Timber, you almost have to draft him later, I feel, as Osiris have done here.
Yeah, but I'm just concerned because, I mean, the mana burn later on is pretty good against Timbersaw, despite him being a strength hero. He's got a decent mana pool. He generally builds, you know, boots into... I guess mana boots don't matter because it's only based off your intel, but...
I vote Windrunner for Dignotoss here.
For Dignotoss?
Oh.
Alright. And then Timbersaw also going to be shut down here by the Doom. His chain could be cancelled by Crystal Maiden.
You're right.
They're going to be hard-pressed to make
or
this
even Nyx.
super effective, but it's going to be Storm Spirit coming out from Dignotoss.
Storm's legit here, too. Storm is a great choice because Orchid puts so much pressure on both Weaver and Timbersaw. In fact, Weaver can eat an Orchid and still get doomed, or can eat a level death and get doomed, or Orchided. This gives them that redundancy on their massive silences that really is effective against both Weaver and Timbersaw. That's the other issue with Timbersaw, of course, is Storm is getting a ton of play lately. I'm surprised they didn't ban Storm, by the way, but
10 seconds
like
remaining.
Storm's quite good against Timbersaw because of how quickly he can farm up
remaining.
Orchid Malevolence, especially on Radiant. So the more popular Storm is, the less popular you'd expect Timbersaw to be, and that's sort of what we've seen. Because Storm is just getting picked all the time these days.
Yeah, that is very, very true. And it's kind of that Venomancer being popular a couple months ago that put it back into the scene because the ball lighting is so good against those slows of Venomancer and of Viper, despite him losing, you know, that lane, I guess, maybe. Well, okay, there's Viper right there, so we get to see it, and now we can talk about it further. He doesn't do well in the lane, but, you know, you can stack up some creep for Storm Spirit, he can take him out with his remnants, and, you know, he can gank up level 6 and get some gold that way, getting that 15 to 18 minute Orchid, and, yeah, it's going to put a ton of pressure on Guanzo.
Yeah, we'll see how the Viper works out. Certainly a hero that does, again, quite good damage, especially single target. He can duel things like Doom. Fact is, they don't have a traditional auto-attack hero on Dignotoss, so I'm not 100% certain that the Viper is exactly what they want here, just because Viper is great against those heroes that he can just go toe-to-toe and kill their auto-attack. But it's like, who's the Viper Strike really going to completely shut down? I guess Doom. So I don't know. Viper mostly picked for surrounding out their lanes and making their lanes really solid here. And maybe just to make it not fun for Dignotoss. Because is there anything less fun than laning against Viper? Like, it's not a fun
Laning against Viper and Venomancer? I don't know.
Yeah, sure. Not even, because then Viper gets lower levels.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. Just that slow in general when they're both on the same team is infuriating. Yes. But we do see, I mean, Storm Spirit can deal with the slow that Viper's dishing out, and Weaver can deal with the slow that Venomancer is pushing out, so that should be an interesting dynamic. I think I like the chances for Osiris to win their lanes a little bit better, but I have to say I like the draft overall of Dignotoss better when it comes to these team fights, but we'll just have to see how it plays out as we'll introduce the teams. Osiris, it's going to be classic, supporting on the Earthshaker with a really cool totem. Will going to be on that Ancient Apparition. Osiris himself on the Weaver, Patsoul mid lane on that Viper, and Guanzo here, he's going to be on the Timbersaw in the bottom lane.
I thought you were overhyping that totem, but then I moved the camera, and damn, you were not. That's a legit...
It's sick.
That is a legit totem cosmetic. Good work. Osiris already winning the game in at least one respect. Yes. Dignotoss, it's going to be Derp on the Venomancer. Looks like he's off lane. Maybe this was intended to be an aggressive try, or maybe it's actually 2-1-2. Looks like 2-1-2. Yeah. Bloody 9 had an amazing game on Slardar last game. He's going to be on the Nyx Assassin this game. In the mid, it's going to be Enzo, Storm Spirit. A lot rides on the Storm Spirit. He's got to have a good game, or they have nothing. Like, they don't have damage going long. And then in the top lane, it's going to be Doom. Risk is playing under the name Rising from Ashes. And he's supported by Nayrok on the Crystal Maiden. So I think this is a fast mechanism game for Doom, even though there's an AA on the other team, just because mech is so useful against Viper. Like, you have to keep your health high on as many heroes as possible in order to make sure that the Nether Toxin is ineffective. So I think a fast mech makes a lot of sense, and especially if they can get a fast mech and keep AA from getting levels, it's going to be really hard. But if they could do that, then the Storm actually doesn't have that much pressure on them, because they should just win straight up.
Yeah, I don't think playing against an Ice Blast is any reason not to get a mech, because you know at some point you're going to be able to fight where Ancient Apparition is thrown to Ice Blast to either push a lane or has missed it, and that heal is definitely going to come in handy, and a very good point there to keep up your HP when going against that Nether Toxin, which was the first ability taken here for Patsoul, so looking to get those last hits out, maybe some denies as Enzo's actually not blocked here. That would have been a kill, I think, but Classic misses the block just a little bit.
Yeah, so far, not really a lot we can deduce here, other than the fact that there is a little bit of... Storm's doing a little better mid than Viper is, so Enzo's doing well for himself, which is good. That's what he needs to do. And meanwhile, in the off lane, it looks like Bloody 9 is having a very easy time, which is a little bit surprising. Of course, he does have Spiked Carapace. You know, he doesn't actually have it, he's just mana burning.
Yeah, can continue to mana burn Guanzo, and as you level that up, we'll see if he wants to put more than just 1 point in it to try to let him sustain himself in this lane. If the Timbersaw wants to rotate out and then get kills, he won't have any mana to do so once he has the Chakram and if he's being mana burned up. So we'll see how that works out. Mid lane's only going to get harder, I think, for Enzo until he's level 6, and then it will be a little bit easier. Because, I mean, as Poison Attack starts getting leveled up, the Harass really pours out.
Certainly. I think we expect Viper to really pick up here. And especially if they can, before Storm gets 6, if they could get a good fissure. That's a dead Storm Spirit. Actually, Derp's hanging around, just knowing that if the Earthshaker ganks, he wants to be able to counter gank. We've got a smoke already up on Crystal Maiden. This is going to be the easiest kill on Patsoul here. Like,
they spotted the Venomancer, though. Patsoul, I saw him pinging out Derp, so he might have walked a little into vision. So he's losing out against some XP, but they started off Bloody 9 very well in the bottom lane. He's got the most CS in the game, and that's actually a pretty scary fact for an Nyx Assassin to have.
Haste.
Yeah. It's a haste for Veno, so they're still going to try to make something happen, I feel. They're just going to rotate him back. Yeah, here he is. But he's only level 2. I mean, Gale's great and all, but...
Well, he's going to land it. Yeah. There's not a lot of damage coming out here. Patsoul actually might even do more damage. Derp's so fast, not slowed down by this poison at all. He's got to be careful. If Classic gets this, I think he's extended too far to Derp, but Classic he has no mana! He's 4 mana short, so he can't throw out the Fissure.
Yikes, that's really unfortunate he couldn't Fissure. I mean, Enzo just gets a little bit of free farm there, but other than that haste rune not doing too much. Mainly right now, Nyx is just kicking ass.
Yeah, he really is. I mean, a lot of people look at this hero and are like, oh, based on the items it's built, this guy must obviously be an intelligence hero, but he's not. He's agility. He's got decent armor, he's got decent attack damage, and good animation too,
and
so getting those
stupid
last
health
hits.
Regen.
Yeah, the health regen is
no reason
ridiculous.
for that.
except that it's just the highest, I guess. I don't know.
It's so good. I mean, and this dual lane up top is doing fine. I mean, Weaver has equal farm to Doom, and their XP is not held down that much because the Earthshaker is roaming and not actually stealing XP from this lane. Right now, you actually see Classic doing a pull and doing Ancients, so fun.
Yeah, he was standing there for so long. I figured that's what he must have been doing, and that explains why he was out of mana when he was rotating to try to deal with that Venomancer.
Extremely cheesy, but whatever, it works.
Yeah. I like pulling into the other camps in the jungle better, because then you can actually kill them and get your money up. But up top, in that one game, we talked about how good the off lane, or just the dual lane of Ancient Apparition and Weaver is, and we're seeing it here, Weaver farming quite well, but they're not really keeping Doom out of it all that much.
They're not, but they're getting levels. I mean, AA and ES are both one level ahead of their counterparts on the other team. And what's Veno, like, how are they going to kill Weaver here? Maybe they can kill AA.
I think they're just going for AA. He gets off one Chilling Touch, but it's just to himself. He doesn't even really get the opportunity to attack. Narok actually dies first, so I think the AA is going to pick up some experience there. There is a Sakuchi here. Will he kill Derp Derp? He will kill Derp Derp, so that goes terribly wrong for Dignotoss. Well,
yeah, that's not good. They didn't even get first blood.
Gonna depend even more on Bloody Nine and Enso here.
Yeah, that's definitely... the fact that they did not get the first blood is so painful, and even more painful is the fact that Crystal Maiden died so early that she's still now barely level 2. I mean, Narok, it's time to jungle, I think. Just forget about doing anything else in this game for a while.
Pretty much. The good news, though, Enso in the mid lane is he's still doing pretty well. He's 16 and 5 compared to the 26 of Patzel. Derp Derp, though, is going to be taking a fall. He's going to be blocked right in there with that angle. And he's going to go down here to Patzel. Patzel, though, will be pulled back. And I don't know if Enso, he does have some illusion runes. Is he going to have the damage to get it? Don't think so. They're both so low. If he was level 6, that would have been devastating for Osiris, but he's not.
Way behind. Like, he's only barely level 5, whereas Viper is almost level 7. That's a big difference.
Look at the Ancient Apparition. Chilling Touch on himself, just harassing Risk's Doom out of the lane with
did he really
damage.
Cast it on himself?
I think so. Well, you don't even have to. You can just cast it on nothing.
Like, you have to cast it on the other guy because you always get it as of 6.78.
Yeah, I don't know, though. That was, like, still pretty effective. It put him off the lane right there. Willie's, yeah, it did just cast it on himself. This should be the kill here. There is a lot of health regen coming from the Scorched Earth, but it's not enough. 2014, a.k.a. Osiris, already onto a killing spree right now. He's got an ultimate orb. Sans Boots at 6 minutes.
Right. They're using their lanes so effectively. I mean, the Viper as a lane winner, the Weaver AA as a strong trial lane, and the cheesy Earthshaker Ancient plays. That, I mean, you could have had Dignotoss ward against.
Yeah, but say it's not that cheesy. I mean, it's pretty obvious that people might be running.
It's cheesy. It's just not. It's not like it's like super overpowered or anything. It's fine.
It's not a photon cannon rush off the start or something like that.
Oh, that time it goes the wrong way. Can't put the wrong way. Game is hard.
Oh, did he miss the block?
I mean, he blocked it. It just went south. Like, the campus like,
yes, I see it on its weird trajectory back over to the mid lane now. Up top, though, there's more fighting. They're going to get Osiris. That's a deny, though. Nicely done here by Will. Easy. And that's a 1-for-1 trade. 2014 Osiris dominating.
Yeah, I mean, the fact is, they do lose Weaver, but it doesn't give anything to, for instance, the Venomancer, so... I don't know. This is starting to get pretty scary. 3 heroes at level 7, the Timbersaw, the Weaver, and the Viper, whereas Nyx is only 6 because he tried to make a rotation. I don't think he got anything. His farm isn't even that impressive, honestly.
It was for a moment. He's still leading
He's got
in
arcanes,
this game.
Yeah.
Did you lag out of this game?
I lagged out. Yep.
I lagged out as well.
Yep.
That's fun. Putting a bit of a delay on what was a very fast series and very exciting series so far. Actually, all the games today I think have been very, very good. Yeah, some of them were one-sided, which is a little less exciting when it's just a best of one because the other team doesn't get to, answer back like we see here between Osiris and Dignotoss. But hopefully we can reconnect. Otherwise, we're gonna have to remake.
I'm still in. I didn't even disconnect.
Oh, okay. So it looks like it's still okay then.
AA and Weaver are still in, so the entire lobby didn't die.
That's good news.
I am off Steam, and Steam says their servers are down for maintenance, so but most people are reconnecting now, so
I'm gonna go cry.
Hey, you're here.
I'm back in, so it looks like everyone is here. Holla shit, says Will. Narok takes it to the next level. Well, good news. At least the lobby persists through that. as I guess we're going to get off topic, but an issue of the day. What is up, man? The Steam servers have been down like every single day for like hours at a time.
I only boot Steam to cast with you, Helium. I'm playing Dark Souls 2. Doesn't require Steam servers.
Oh, lucky you. I'm playing 2048, the best game ever.
What is that?
The tile game where you slide the tiles and every piece is a power of 2, and like the 2's combined to 4s, the 4's combined to 8s.
Oh, dude, yeah, there's an iPad version of that my girlfriend's been playing like 22 hours a day, more or less. Like, doesn't eat, doesn't sleep, just plays the iPad game. The iPad game's even better. It has it has good graphics, and Day 9 is the voice acting for it.
What?
Sick. Yeah, he's one of the voice actors of that game.
Is this on Android as well?
No, I think it's iPad only, dude.
No.
Yeah. But yeah, it's the exact same game. I see what this is. Yeah, it's the same thing.
Yeah, it's very fun. I played it like 3 times, and I was like, I did pretty well, and then I started playing it a little more intensely yesterday, and I started figuring out some of my strategies.
Yeah. I already know the damage it can cause from from my life. So.
I've got to the 1024 piece multiple times. I haven't been able to combine them though to the 2048. I mean, so call me a noob, I guess.
Well, no, I mean it's every subsequent step is harder and harder, right? Like.
Yes, by orders of magnitude.
Well, I don't know by an order.
Earthshaker might say that.
Maybe by an order of 2 or so. More than 2, but less than 10. Let's say that.
Oh, I think we're back. Good news, everybody. Not too delayed here, not having to rehost from save or anything. Lobby will persist. I guess it's 7 minutes, but you know, whatever. We're paused. We can check out the graphs as we get unpaused. It's about a 1,500 gold lead for Osiris, 3,000 experience lead for Osiris. So it looks like the lane-winning lineup here. At least that we determined to be the lane-winning lineup. Doing just that, winning the lanes, despite there have been some kills. It's not 0-0 like it says for me. It's actually 5-2 in favor of Osiris.
Yeah. I think Osiris will be very happy with how the game gone so far, but it's not hopeless yet for Dignotoss. What they haven't done is gotten anything done with the Storm, and that's really what the Viper lane was all about. It was, hey, let's pressure Storm very heavily, let's keep him down in levels, let's slow down the Orchid Malevolence, and then, you know, our Weaver and Timbersaw will have a lot less to worry about. And so far, that's been a successful strategy.
Well, Enso is up to level 6, Ball Lightning. He's got a regen, but he receives this damage over time, the poison attack, and now he's not going to be able to pop that up. Here comes Bloody Nine, though, rotating over to Pat's Soul. Can he get the Impale? He will get the Impale. Pat's going to die, but maybe not. There's a beautiful Fissure. Ice Blast comes in off the mark, though. Pat's Soul still alive. Can bottle up here a little bit. Oh, he doesn't have the bottle, excuse me. That's Enso with the bottle, and they're going to turn it around. They kill Patzel. They will get Classic as well. Willies is here. Timbersaw coming in now for the fight, trying to get Bloody Nine, but not going to be able to do so. And this is very, very nice start of things to get the ball rolling here for Dignotoss, getting big kills in the middle lane. There might be able to get Guanzo as well. Enso's getting very low, pulled back through the Vortex. Ball Lightning has a wand charge and a bottle. And Enso, that was a long Timber Chain. He will get away back up the hill.
Yep, and just a Venomous Scale tossed out on the AA to make sure that he doesn't chase. Yeah, they don't get Timbersaw, but still, that's a really important couple of kills for Dignotoss because it does get the ball rolling for Storm Spirit. The ball lightning rolling for Storm Spirit. And Nayrok didn't die somehow. I really thought that Timbersaw was going to bring him down, but he stays alive, which is important for us, an extremely under-level Crystal Maiden. The main thing is AA is 6, he has his ult. It didn't land that fight, but it will land in future fights, whereas Veno is nowhere near his ult.
Yeah, checking out Venomancer, he's level 4 right now. The Crystal Maiden also level 4. They're pretty close to 5, but at 9 minutes you want to be a little further ahead. It's not terrible, it's not great. They're somewhere in the middle of the pack as Osiris does go back for boots here on the Weaver with that ultimate orb he got earlier, so he still looks to make that quick Lincolns, and what a better item to get against the Doom.
It's certainly. I mean, this is the most obvious build for Weaver ever. Like you would never even consider doing anything but rushing Lincolns. But
oh, nice stun out here onto Guanzo. That's going to be another kill for Enso. Potentially, Guanzo gets away, but the overload attack, maybe just a regular attack from Enso, gets that kill. And it looks like he'll be able to finish up his treads off of that if he wants to here. For those that did not play Dota 1, the Robe of the Magi, the Boots of Elven Skin, and the Belt of Ogre Strength will all finish treads.
Yeah. Surprising, because a lot of the time it's a very good idea to use the appropriate one for your hero type and not always go for the belt of strength. Anyway, Enzo has the treads. I still think we probably see Orchid coming out from him. It will be delayed, but at least he's starting to get those kills, which are so important. And now he has a regen rune, which will also speed up his farm and potentially lead to another kill if he's careful about positioning.
Yeah, Enzo looks to be taking out some jungle, maybe hunting for some stacks. He's got the regen. I guess he's looking to put his mana to use, just farming up outside of the lane. They give the lane actually over to Venomancer. They want to get that Poison Nova online, so I like this. Enzo finding some farm in other means.
Yeah, he can jungle because he has infinite mana when he wants it from the regen.
Bloody Nine though is starting to do very well. He's keeping up to date in the farm. He's giving Guanzo a run for his money, taking away tons of HP. And actually, this is Enzo now rotating into the bottom lane. Has that regen still online. Bloody Nine continuing to bait out this. One attack at the Vortex back. Guanzo goes down once more. This is a level 9 Nyx and now a level 9 Storm Spirit. They're doing well, but Derp in the middle lane. I think Patsoul could have become more aggressive there.
It would have been really tough. There's a potential TP coming in. But yeah, the Timber just didn't imagine that the Storm would stay for an hour to farm jungle creeps because he didn't know that Storm had the regen rune. But instead, the regen rune leads to another kill. And these are all very important if Dignotoss is going to pull this game back. In fact, I'd say at this point they have more or less pulled it back. They're in okay.
Yeah, I think they have 2, and I really need Dignotoss to pick up a kill here, so it fixes the scoreboard for him as they have 0. Classic is going to be doomed up here, so it looks like Osiris is going to do just that. They get a kill. Now we see the proper score. It's 8-6 still in favor of Dignotoss. They turn that gank around. They lose their Doom, but he's got a Midas and he's got Devour. It's not the biggest deal. 9 in some trouble. The Ice Blast cleans him up there. He shatters immediately. Actually, Guanzo gets the kill. Now he wants to go in on Derp. So the kill's 2 for 2 up here. Enzo now coming in, going to kill Guanzo once more. Maybe there's Nayrok showing up and needs to have no mana, unfortunately. Can't do anything. He might even die here to Nayrok. Actually, Patsoul shows up and going to clean house. And Crystal Maiden will die. So they lose 4 to Osiris, I think, losing 3. They did manage to kill the Weaver to start the things off there.
Yeah,
and, well, it's not quite over.
Nice block.
He needs to do it again here in 1 second if he can. Oh, Guanzo doesn't care, though. He just runs through trees. Derp should go down, and this is going to be a full team wipe, but Doom now back into the fray. Unfortunately, Risk doesn't actually have his namesake ability. Guanzo, though, out of mana, stuck up in the trees. Patsoul, same thing. They have overextended. The TPs are coming back in, and after this, it's really not going to be all that bad for Dignotoss. Classic trying to get involved once more. This is ridiculous. They turn it around with the Ice Blast and the Fissure. Osiris really makes something that was looking pretty dire, and they turn it around.
Dignotoss are really... Oh my god.
Bloody Nine, no. They do get the stun. More TPs continue to come in. Patsoul's still alive, and Viper is a hero that if you don't kill, things go very, very poorly. They will get him there. They're going to pick up Classic as well. Poison over from Derp, first of the game, and now Dignotoss start to turn it around. This game definitely the closest one yet. Suddenly it's 12-12, and it's right back even again.
Okay, yeah, whatever. Alright, well, video games.
Yeah, that happened right there. That was a little ridiculous. Getting a little sloppy, I guess.
Yeah, sloppy's a word for that.
Dignotoss gets picked off. They start to turn it around. Osiris continues to be aggressive. Dignotoss making some mistakes again, giving up kills. The power of the Ice Blast shining through, and then just still not able to get out of the trees. They go down, and the trade at the end of the day, I think, was relatively even, but we see Crystal Maiden getting picked off there in the middle lane.
6 for 6 trade.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Classic Dota.
Indeed. I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say who got the advantage from that. I feel like overall you have to probably say Osiris got the better end of that, but
I mean, look at the graph. It just goes up and then it goes right back down. So Osiris, a little bit the benefactors from that team fight, but not by a lot.
Not by a lot, yeah. And they didn't get a tower is the big thing. Like, they are ahead on towers, though. They have 1 in the mid. Actually, yeah, only 1 tower killed so far this game. But they're going to go for this tier 1, which they didn't get on the last big push, so it makes sense that they would try to seize that now. And the question is, will Dignotoss try to defend it? Oh, Weaver.
Bottom lane, yeah, Weaver in a lot of trouble. Bloody Nine are going to throw out the Impale. They should be able to get him. Nicely done. And that's Enzo has 1 Oblivion Staff working towards another, but the top tier 1 tower in the meantime, they kill a hero, they lose a tower. Trades have been made.
I think that was a really great kill in the Weaver. They've done a very good job of shutting him down. They've slowed down that Linken's a lot, because it seemed like he would get a great timing on the Linken's, but now he's died 3 times. He's 5-3-1. he still has about 1,300 left to go on that Lincoln Sphere, and by that time, Storm may well have the Orchid.
Yeah, Storm seems to be progressing very, very nicely after having a harder time in the lane to the Viper, as we might expect. He also gave up the first blood to the early ganks. So, we will see.
Doom.
Actually, did he? No, that was Morphling in the last game. I think I just made that up.
This game, First Blood, was in that top lane with the 3 versus 2. Yeah.
Here comes the dive, though, onto Patzel. He did finish up his mechanism, but he gets doomed, so he cannot use it. And now the Ice Blast is going to come in. Did it hit anybody? It looks like to have hit Crystal Maiden, and that's about it. Crystal Maiden dies very, very quickly. Enso, though, does have 13 wand charges. Can ball lightning away. Nicely done. Bloody 9 here in the Vendetta Strike. Ready to strike. Whoa, Guanso going forward so far. Will he be able to get the kill? He will. Impale from Bloody 9 off the mark once more. And Guanso getting away from something I don't think you shouldn't have been able to get away from.
That was a really good Timber Chain by Guanso, but mainly for me that comes down to using the Doom on the Viper instead of planning to Doom the Timbersaw when he comes in. They would have killed Viper even without the Doom, I believe, and they wouldn't have escaped in time regardless. So I think Doom on Timbersaw would have saved the Storm Spirit. Storm Spirit's the one person that they can't have die at this point, because what comes out of that is that Weaver actually gets the Lincolns. I was wrong, he already had the recipe waiting, and Storm is still pretty far off the Orchid, so he lost a lot of gold off of that death.
Tower is under attack.
Yeah, I have to agree. It's going to hurt delaying that. The Lincoln's already coming up. Still at a very, very good time here. 16 minutes with Boots 1 finishing up a Bass as they like to push the towers now. Classic. Goes Mana Boots here on the Earth Shaker, which that's subject to interpretation, I guess. I mean, it's a hero that likes to throw his spells. They're very, very useful, so the Mana Boots is great, but it's not out of the ordinary these days, I think, to just rush the new Manaless Blink Dagger.
Yeah. I think Osiris are still a little scarier just because with the Storm not having Orchid Malevolence and the Weaver having Lincolns already, and the Viper being... Viper's strong enough. I mean, he only has Mechanism, but that's plenty for them. I think they just have way better teamfight right now than Dignotoss can muster because the Crystal Maiden and the Veno die so quickly.
Yeah, they really do. And, well, bye! Crystal Maiden dies immediately. Now they're going to initiate Echo Slam out from Classic. Beautifully done. Enso dies again. Going to continue to delay that Orchid up. Ashes, a.k.a. Risk on the Doom. Looks like he might be going down. Guanso does Timber Chain forward. Can they get him? Bloody 9 also retreating. Dignotoss lose 3 on this team fight, and they're going to give up the bottom tier 1 tower. So things starting to go south pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Beautiful Ice Blast coming in, too, and then that Fissure initiation.
Exactly. The Fissure, the supports, they're just getting so much more out of their supports because of the greater damage and greater control that Ancient Apparition and Earthshaker respectively bring compared to CM and Venomancer. Venomancer actually just not that great of a choice in this game. Like, he hasn't been able to get too much done. Nice Ice Blast.
Oh,
dodge it.
Good thing that Nyx Assassin blinked. Also, the Ice Blast did not land there
the
on
Doomed Weaver.
Bayrock. TP's coming in now. They have Doomed Weaver, which is not an easy task since he's got the Lincolns, and so is going to get obliterated. No, he Bolt Lightnings away. Classic still remains alive. Patzel now the focus here. Another Fissure blocking up Bloody 9. Guanso pretty low on mana. Can throw the Chakram if he wants to. I don't think Risk is going to make it. Enso will die. Nyx Assassin manages to escape just barely. He will Vendetta Strike. Classic. Bloody 9 goes on to a killing spree. Now Derp, though, with a negative earn charge, and Guanso doing so much damage. Doom having really no effect because he's got to use the
well, who
Doom
cares that he has
on
Blink,
the Weaver.
right? Like, what if this Blink was a mechanism and they could use it outside of the Ice Blast window? Like, they could actually survive.
Yeah,
but they just
definitely.
Die.
Gotta kind of disagree with that Doom build as Bloody 9 finally does get cleaned up. It's 22-15 here in an action-packed game number 3. Osiris here with the upper hand.
Yeah, that's Osiris. That's going to be an extremely convincing advantage because now Storm, it's been 4 minutes and Storm has made no progress towards Orchid in those 4 minutes. It's now 19
minutes. Actually died
in.
3 or 4 times.
Yeah, he has died 3 times, so he has gotten almost nothing. He hasn't participated in kills. They've gotten Dooms off, but they can't capitalize on them. The Blink Dagger on the Doom has done basically nothing for the 2150 investment. It's a rough time. They're not out of it, but it's a great deal of pressure for a while now.
Crystal Maiden will live, but barely. That's 1 Ice Blast. Takes her down to 150 HP. If you get this to rank 3, then suddenly Ice Blast, which is really far off, so that's not really fair to say, but Crystal Maiden obviously just disappears. Derp as well in the bottom lane. We can see Venomancer just getting dove under the tier 2 tower once again. Osiris picks up another kill there. Impale off the mark from Bloody 9. That one, though, pretty hard to land.
Yeah. It would have been, yeah, like you said, it would have been very hard to land that. And now Timber has a great game. I mean, you mentioned that Timber could be in a bit of trouble just because of the Nyx Assassin mana burn and stuff like that, but now he cares a lot less about that because his regen is so good, and his int is not that high, like because he went for Bloodstone, which doesn't give you any intelligence, just gives you a crap ton of mana and a crap ton of mana regeneration. So mana burn no longer nearly as effective as it was in late phase for Bloody 9.
Yeah, and it is obviously being maxed. Well, actually, no, he did max out Spike Carapace first entirely. There's really not that many mana burn targets.
Yeah, it's not worth
what you just
maxing.
mentioned.
Yeah, not in this game. There's not compared to a game against OD or something.
Alright, and so it should be noted he does have a Robe of the Magi, Sage's Mask on the Courier, so he's 700 gold away from his Orchid just about, which is still a decent amount. I mean, this is already 2 to 4 minutes late on that Orchid timing. Could take him another minute to finish it up. He might even die again in the process, delaying it further because...
Yeah. I feel like it's more than 2 to 3 minutes late, in my opinion. Like, in a normal game, yes, but in a game where Storm Spirit is like your like he has to do well or you have no team, you have to have it faster. Like, this is the sort of game where you'd want to have that Orchid come in at like 13 minutes, and so he's quite a bit behind where they'd want to be. Like, what does a game that we win look like, and how does this game compare to that game? Rather than, like, what's an average game, and how does this compare to that?
Yeah, that is a good point, because I like to put the average timing around like 15, 18 minutes, so based off of that, you know, he's only 3 minutes late, but like you said, they need it earlier and they didn't get it, so it's hurting them a lot, and they're losing now towers in the bottom lane, Weaver, Viper pushing that down as Dignotoss try to mount their own push in the mid game, and at this point, the Venomancer 0-6, Nayrok 0-6, there are more liabilities than they are heroes on your team.
Venom's gonna die again, almost certainly.
I think he is. Ice Blast coming in, not gonna land on anybody, but it's not really needed. They get another kill. Poison on poison.
Yeah, they're getting very little out of these support picks this game, for sure. The CM and the Viper have not been able to... Sorry, the Venomancer have not been able to produce. Even the early ganks didn't work. Like, they tried to rotate mid to kill the Viper. Did not work out. Viper now pretty close to Aghanim Scepter. I don't think Aghanim Scepter is that important this game, but it certainly does mean that there's just no auto attack coming out of DNT at all.
Guanso will get doomed up here in the top lane. There was a TP behind that. It was the Ancient Apparition coming in to help with this, but Risk is able to get away, but it's a Doom used rather defensively, saying, I don't want to die to Timbersaw. He just runs away, puts it on cooldown for, what, 80 seconds now?
Yeah, I mean, it's a substantial cooldown, because again, it gives Osiris free reign to just push this tier 2, I should say. So now a defense is going to be pretty tough, even with the addition of the Orchid Malevolence, because you don't have that Doom.
Oh man, it lands on Derp. He disappears. Guanso monster kill streak right now as they are just taking out heroes under their own towers. There's really nowhere safe for these people to be, and those people being Crystal Maiden and Veno.
Yeah, I mean, they're such slow heroes. Right now, with Brown Boots, even with her Tranquils, CM's moving at 370. With his Brown Boots, Veno's moving at 335. And you have a Blink Timber that can blow you up so easily when an Ice Blast comes in. I just think Osiris have abused the supports of DNT and been able to hold down Storm just enough that it sort of tips the balance. And now the supports are almost hopeless. I mean, Crystal Maiden's 3 levels behind. Veno at least is level 11, so he has level 2 ultimate, but I don't know. Tier 3 is in trouble.
Yeah, it is indeed, and Chilling Touch being used. It has no effect on towers, but here's the idea. They throw out the Chilling Touch, they attack the tower, no charges are used. If they're initiated on, they have it, and if it runs out, well, it's already off cooldown again, so very interesting.
That's cool. Weaver used his Lincolns on Timber, I think, and it ate debuff.
Oh, nicely done. The power of that item with that change, well, it has definitely been picked up more, so I think that change was really perfect for it. It
was.
It's
Lincoln's
not every
was
game,
bad.
but it gets picked up, so it's great.
I feel like Lincoln's was a quite weak item, and now it's much better with that change.
Yeah, I like how it's so funny. It's a weak item. It blocks a spell like every 12 seconds, where...
Not even.
Just to bring this up, I mean, what is it? Banshee Veil.
17 seconds.
Banshee's Veil in League of Legends is like 40 seconds to block a spell.
It's like a tier 1 item. Yeah.
And we think Lincoln sucks. Like, it's just it's so
okay.
funny.
I don't think Lincoln sucks. Don't. I mean,
No, you said it sucks.
It's not as good as the best item.
It's on the record.
Veil of Discord.
Yeah, Veil of Discord is pretty awesome, and the best hero with it, you know, Jakiro.
Yeah, Shakira's pretty legit. Weaver almost done with Desolator now, so we talked about how Osiris didn't have that great damage coming from the Weaver, and they needed to buff Bolster with the Timber Saw and maybe the Viper. Now, as soon as that Desolator comes up, Weaver's going to have very legitimate damage and good pushing power. And considering they've already taken the tier 3, these Raxes could drop very easily. Interesting, by the way, how few Roshans we've seen in this tournament. Like, one so far, and that was on, like, a Lycan team, so, like, if they hadn't rushed, what the hell?
Well, to be fair, we're approaching the max duration of every game so far.
Right, that's true.
And Patsoul in the middle lane in some trouble. He can throw out. Oh, the Echo Slam comes in from Classic. It's not the most effective, but it saves the life of Patsoul. He gets off the mechanism. Now Classic is doomed. That's Doom being used on an Earthshaker who already used his ultimate. Risk will go down. Nayrok trying to channel a freezing field just for the hell of it. First one of the game that I think I've seen. Ancient Apparition gets picked off. Kwanzaa just stands in it like a man, just like whatever. He gets him triple kill coming out here. Dignotoss loses 4 in that engagement. Osiris now 29 to 17, 10,000 gold lead, 10,000 XP,
yes!
ultra kill for Kwanzaa.
Nyx tried to step to that mistake. Yeah, now Timbersaw is level 19. Timber took over this game. I mean, didn't have the greatest lane phase just because Nyx was playing the lane properly. But ever since then, again, this is exactly the hero they needed for this situation. And if they had picked Timber first, like just to go back to one of your questions earlier, if they'd picked Timber first, you would just see a very different draft from Dignotoss that would be able to deal with the Timber much easier. But because they picked the Timber later, they picked him into a lineup where he slots in perfectly, and they don't have that many tools against him. I mean, Venomancer does nothing against a Timbersaw. Like, even CM does not very much against him. Like, Storm should, but he got a slow Orchid. Osiris is in trouble? Nope.
He could have been. Here comes the mechanism and the turnaround. Ice Blast lands on everybody. Doom should shatter from this. It also landed on an Enzo. Enzo might... He's dead. Boom. He dies. It's a double kill for Willies. Did he pick up an Ags? No, he didn't. That's without the Ags, and that's the GG coming out here. Osiris, they win the first best of 3 of the day in the semifinals. They will go on to the finals to face off against... Well, we'll figure that out in a moment.
They deserve to win. They played better. I do wish that Doom had rushed Mechanism. Like, as you sort of said earlier, like, just because Ice Blast exists isn't a reason to not get a mech, and I think that's a good point and one that Dignotoss disagreed with to their detriment.
Yeah, I would concur, and it's Dignotoss moving on into the finals here, and we're actually... The finals are set for 6 p.m. Eastern. It's only 6:16, so we're pretty good with this schedule. Union Gaming, they're going up against Snob +4 in the other semifinals, so one of those teams advancing into the finals. I mean, Union Gaming, I feel like they've been in a bit of a slump lately, but they're a fantastic team from Peru, but I gotta give the edge. I think Snob +4 might be advancing from that group.
We'll have to see. I don't know how those games have been going, but yeah, great game so far. This has been a fun little one-day cup, Dota Trash Destruction. I've had a lot of fun casting it so far. Of course, sponsored by NA Dota as well. They gave us overlays and stuff. The overlays are hella nice.
Yeah, the overlays are sick, actually. I hope I can like just use these again. I didn't get the word on who actually made them. I'd love to give them the shout-outs that they obviously deserve, but... Maybe we can
I
get
think
the info on
Spillwad just said like it's somebody new. Maybe it's like an anonymous designer that doesn't want to publicize their name just yet.
All right, well, momentarily we'll be back here for the next finals. It could be more downtime as we're switching series, waiting on another game. Either way, your host, Vic Ramond, Healy Umbrella, we're out.